The Post. The Post. Townships interviews. Don't forget breaking news. The Post, the Post, the Post. Broadcast just.
Yes, hello, and welcome to the Pulse of the Eastern Townships. I'm William Crooks. On today's show, we begin with a closer look at what is now known and what remains unclear following a multi-kilometre police pursuit that moved through several Eastern Townships communities before ending with an arrest in Sherbrooke. We'll break down the confirmed timeline, the charges currently before the court, and the questions that are still unanswered. From there, we turn to Ayer's Cliff, where concerns over salty snow pushed towards the lake have sparked public debate. Mayor Alec van Zuiden explains what happened, why the stretch of road falls under provincial responsibility, and how small municipalities navigate environmental concerns, jurisdictional limits, and growing governance pressures. We'll wrap up with provincial politics, as Bishop's University political scientist Jacob Robbins-Kanter joins us to analyze François Legault's resignation, what it means for the CAQ leadership race, and why a late reset may not be enough to change the outcome of the next Quebec election. These stories are coming up. Stay with us. Hello, and I'm William Crooks. This report is supported by the Local Journalism Initiative. New details have emerged following a multi-kilometre police pursuit that moved through several Eastern Townships communities over the weekend, ending with an arrest in Sherbrooke municipal territory. Court administration officials have now identified Christian Gagnon as the man arrested in connection with the incident, adding clarity to a case that initially involved limited public information and no named suspect. According to Quebec court administration representatives, Gagnon appeared at the Sherbrooke courthouse on Monday afternoon, January 12th, at approximately 12:30 p.m. His file has been remanded until January 14th, when a judge is expected to decide whether he will be released or remain in custody. Court officials explain that their role is limited to confirming procedural details related to active judicial files. They are not authorized to comment on evidence, investigative findings, or legal arguments. They confirm that Gagnon is facing several criminal code allegations stemming from the January 11th incident. These include allegations of dangerous operation of a motor vehicle, failing to stop for police, assaulting a peace officer, and obstruction of justice. According to court administration representatives, the allegations relate to an incident involving a collision with another vehicle, a failure to stop and provide identifying information, and an arrest that followed police intervention. Court officials also confirmed that the file contains an allegation that the accused was armed at the time of arrest. No further details were provided regarding what he was allegedly armed with, and no additional information was released on that point. As with all criminal cases, these charges remain allegations only, and the accused is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in court. The court information follows earlier reporting based on verified details provided by the Sûreté de Quebec. According to SQ Communications Sergeant Maritze Bolduc, police were first alerted to the situation on Sunday morning after receiving information related to a suspect. Before officers could arrive on scene, the suspect took a vehicle and left the area. Police later located the vehicle in the municipality of Sawyerville. When officers attempted to intervene, the driver refused to stop, triggering a pursuit that continued over several kilometers and crossed multiple municipal boundaries. Sergeant Bolduc confirmed that the suspect refused to stop despite police efforts, and that the pursuit continued as officers attempted to bring the situation to an end. The chase ultimately concluded on Sherbrooke municipal territory, where Sûreté de Quebec officers were joined by members of the Sherbrooke Police Service to carry out the arrest. Police reported that resistance occurred during the arrest and that physical intervention was required to restrain the suspect. The individual was then transported to the police station. At the time of the initial police briefing, Sergeant Bolduc said the suspect could face several criminal charges, including flight from police, dangerous driving, and assault. She emphasized that final charges would be determined through the judicial process. In addition to the verified police information, this reporter received reports from local residents who said they observed the pursuit moving through Sawyerville, along Spring Road, between Cookshire and Lennoxville on Route 108, and through Lennoxville's College Street. These residents' accounts have not been independently confirmed by police. A video posted later that day to Facebook page Spotted Sherbrooke Estrie shows what appears to be a blue vehicle surrounded by police cars. Police have not confirmed the make or model of the vehicle involved, nor whether the footage definitively depicts the incident described by Sûreté de Quebec. One resident suggested the vehicle may have been a blue Toyota Yaris, but police have not verified that detail. At this stage, several key details remain unclear. Police have not confirmed the exact make or model of the vehicle involved in the pursuit, nor whether the social media footage circulating online definitively shows the incident described by the Sûreté de Quebec. Authorities have also not released details about the alleged collision referenced in court records, including where it occurred or whether anyone was injured. In addition, while court administration officials confirm that the file contains an allegation that the accused was armed at the time of arrest, no information has been provided about what he was allegedly armed with or whether any weapon was recovered. Police have not indicated how fast the vehicle was traveling during the pursuit, how many police vehicles were involved, or whether additional charges could be laid as the investigation continues. Those questions are expected to be addressed through future court proceedings or additional police updates. Court administration officials confirmed that Gagnon remains in custody pending the January 14th remand hearing, where a judge will determine whether he will be released under conditions or remain detained. Police and court officials have both indicated that the matter remains active. Further details are expected to emerge as the case proceeds through the court system. As with all criminal cases, the accused is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in court. I'm William Crooks, this is CJMQ, and this report was supported by the Local Journalism Initiative. I'm William Crooks, and this is CJMQ 88.9 FM. Concerns have been raised in Ayers Cliff after sandy, salty snow was pushed towards the lake during a recent road clearing, prompting questions about environmental impact and responsibility. I spoke with Ayers Cliff Mayor Alec van Zuiden about what the municipality can and can't do, and about the broader pressures facing small-town councils. This report was produced with the support of the Local Journalism Initiative. Here's our conversation. Mayor van Zuiden, there have been complaints on social media and your last council meeting about salty, sandy snow being pushed towards the lake on Route 141 on the way to Magog. What are your thoughts?
Oh, it just blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. I mean, the standards that we're held to, and then the MTQ comes up and flaunts us in our face. Now, I'll tell you, the town has written a letter of complaint to the MTQ, waiting for an answer. There's nothing more we can do, right? That's outside of our jurisdiction. And, I don't know who the contractor was. There is. I'm sure they meant well. We have phenomenal roads. They keep them remarkably well plowed, and we appreciate that, but kind of in your face way. I've never seen this. Normally they're what would I say? They're very careful. How they do their work around the lake just seems to be like I don't know what happened. Bad hair day, no clue. And it's outside of our jurisdiction, like I said. So, but what frustrates me is if a citizen did that, even 1/100th of that, if a citizen did that, we would be expected as a municipality to deal with that system. And if we didn't, I suspect the MRC wouldn't. If the MRC didn't, well, then the government would, right? It's top-down management, and then they do what they want. No, something's wrong there. And I don't know all the reasons behind it. Who knows? But usually they're careful, and we know that some of it's going to go into the lake, right, as they plow. But not this. This is just absolutely insane. And our hands are tied. It came up at the not the budget meeting, but the public meeting last night. It came up. Yeah, well, we sent a letter. What more can we do? We're waiting to hear. Social media scares me because somebody can take off on a tangent, but rightfully so. I mean, the pictures are horrendous. I was going to say, we appreciate what they're doing, but it's just, I think what stuck in my craw, and especially the public meeting when I was asked about it, is if one of our citizens, heaven forbid they mow the lawn and get a piece of grass in the water, out by the lake, can you imagine what would happen? And this, come on. C'est le gros bon sens. It's just, there was none.
I'll have to speak with the MTQ about this.
Yeah, well, like I say, our DG wrote them. We're waiting to hear, but yeah, it's just, it's the, stuff happens, but it's the injustice of it, Again, and that's my sticking point. If a citizen did 100th of that, we'd be expected to deal with it. Well, so how are they going to deal with it? And at the same time, we want our roads clear, and we appreciate the level of the quality of road clearing they do. But I've never seen this.
If a regular citizen did something like this, what would you do?
We'd have to refer to our bylaws and see what the transgression was and go with it from there. But I think citizens have been sufficiently made aware of what can and can't happen on riversides, on the lakesides, on lakefronts. And I go back to blade of grass, which is kind of stupid, but, you're not allowed anywhere near there. You're not allowed to have any effluent go to the lake, and that we can do this. I don't know, we'd have to deal with it, but I would be surprised if we'd have to deal with it, because I don't think any citizen is that stupid.
It could be just some kind of oversight or something, right?
The NCQs, they have it, but they have contractors. So maybe there's a subcontractor, who knows? New person on the job. I have no clue. But somewhere, somebody's got to tell them, oh, wait a minute, boy, back that pony way up, you couldn't write this stuff, You couldn't write the stuff what's going on south of the border, and on our end, we got nonsense like this. You couldn't write this stuff. Nobody would believe it.
Since I have you on the phone, what else happened last night at the meeting?
The lady that does our community center there with kids after school programs, we're going to be bringing her on, doing more work for us. I can't speak intelligently. I've got to get the details because we have one of our inspectors that isn't coming back. Yeah, she's going to get more hours, and we're going to do more. We made a call to the public for those who are we don't want to do Phelps Helps, but we do have hours at the center there where retired teachers or seniors in the community can come and help our kids doing their homework, some of that kind of thing. So that's wonderful. We're looking forward to that, and people have volunteered for that already, and there'll be more. I think one of the big things would be noted is that around our table, the six councillors and the mayor, we're all very, I don't want to say headstrong, but we all have very fixed ideas, And I think people are seeing that, and we're seeing it around the table, and it's marvelous because we can challenge each other, and that was brought out at the public meeting yesterday. We can challenge each other respectfully and move forward. And so nothing's just kind of, what's the word, rubber stamped. Things are challenged, things are defended, and they move forward. So I think people are appreciating that. They're having their confidence. I think there's a level of ease at the meetings that we haven't seen for a long time. It really is, to me, a night and day difference. And there could be all kinds of reasons for that. So, whatever. But I'll just attribute it to the people around the table and our administration. Just working hand in hand, And without that, it becomes a nightmare. Like you saw that a mayor just resigned in Saint State. He resigned the 10th of January.
The mayor then told me he sent a letter to his council about the issue.
But that was sent last night. That was big. We are doing a Lac à l'Épaule. I keep calling it Meats Lake, but a Lac à l'Épaule in March. Now, when I married before, I did some smaller in-house Lac à l'Épaule, for the day. This one, we're going off-site, and we're having, what's the firm? Niska, I think it is, that are going to, what's that called? Not individuate, but drive the program. Facilitate. There we go. Facilitate the program. Because, like I said, we're all fairly, alpha characters around the table. Okay. And there's some huge dossiers coming up compared to when I was mayor before. I mean, there were important dossiers, but more so now, the government is dumping down the MRCs. MRCs are dumping down to us. So we're having to pick up the ball. There's some huge files that are coming down the pike here. We need to know which ones we're going to address, how we're going to address them, because we can't handle them all, right? So we need to come to terms with that for the next 4 years. And so I'm taking council away with my DG, and we're going to kick the life out of this thing. We have our strategic development plan, and we're going to bring them all together. And it'll help point our way forward.
That was Ayerscliffe Mayor Alec Van Zuiden responding to concerns about snow removal near the lake and reflecting on council dynamics and the challenges facing small municipalities. I'm William Crooks, and this is CJMQ 88.9 FM. This segment was produced with the support of the Local Journalism Initiative. Quebec Premier François Legault has announced he will resign, setting off a leadership race within the Coalition Avenir Quebec just months before the next provincial election. To help unpack why Legault stepped aside now and what it means for the CAQ and Quebec politics more broadly, I spoke with Bishop's University political scientist Jacob Robbins-Kanter. This interview is supported by the Local Journalism Initiative. I'm William Crooks, and this is CJMQ 88.9 FM. All right, Dr. Robbins-Kanter, why would Premier Legault resign now?
I think that he waited until really the last possible moment to step aside. He really clung to the position of premier, believing that he could turn things around in the opinion polls, really thinking maybe some miraculous event for him could change the what looks like the inevitable result, but that didn't happen. I mean, we've seen surprises happen in politics before, like in federal politics when Justin Trudeau was at the end of a pretty long time in power and was an unpopular late-stage leader, and things did turn around surprisingly for the Liberal Party when Donald Trump threatened to make Canada the 51st state, and of course the whole tariff crisis. So we've seen surprises. So I assume that Legault was considering maybe there could be a similar shakeup of things that could save him, but it just got too close to the election date, and the opinion polls weren't changing.
What chances do you think the CAQ have if they put in a new leader and try to turn over a new leaf?
I think they'll try to put in a new leader who can distance themselves from the unpopular element of the current government, and the current government is very much tied to Legault personally, so they might be able to try to turn a leaf and to position themselves a little differently, but I think that's a difficult task to do, especially if they choose someone who is currently a member of the CAQ government to replace Legault.
Who would be the frontrunner for CAQ leadership now?
It's hard to single out a single frontrunner, but it would probably be some high-profile cabinet ministers in the CAQ government, like Simon Jolin-Barrette or Bernard Drinville or Geneviève Guilbeault would be people that come to mind as having a large stature within the party, as having a lot of political experience. But again, the negative side of that for them is that they're also tied to the unpopular legacy of the government.
There's been silence from local CAQ MPs on this issue. Why do you think that is? Local media is reporting Geneviève Hébert has been totally silent.
I mean, I hadn't heard that she's refusing to say nothing at all. You would think she would have some words of support and gratitude for the leader of her party, who had two majority governments and who has a successful, at least political legacy from her point of view. So I'm surprised that she's not saying more about that. But I wouldn't be surprised if the current CAQ members are silent on what they want to see happen to the party going forward, because it's not clear how the leadership race will shake up. They don't know yet the rules for how they'll choose the new leader, and no one probably wants to go out and endorse people yet before they've even declared their candidacies and things like that.
What does this mean for the other parties in Quebec?
I think it's probably not going to change things too much, because this was expected that it was a strong possibility. But I think all things equal, the other parties would have preferred that Legault stay on as CAQ leader because of his unpopularity. So it opens up a slightly larger chance that the CAQ can regain some ground in opinion polls at the expense of the PQ in particular, maybe a little bit at the expense of the Liberals. So the other parties would have rather seen Legault stay, but I don't think it will change the likeliest result, which is still a PQ victory in the election.
Do you think the CAQ could do anything to turn things around at this point?
It's hard to see them doing much to turn things around at this point. We've seen this situation before with unpopular late-stage governments. There's just a point at which the electorate really stops listening to them. No matter what they try to do, it can be seen as desperation, and they've just really, it seems in the minds of the public that they've really run their course, and I think that's where the CAQ are now. It would take a really extraordinary event like we saw with Donald Trump and the threat to take over Canada and all of that. It would take something almost on that scale of course, but applicable more to the provincial level. It would take something like that to turn it around for the CAQ, and I just don't see that happening between now and the election time.
Doesn't some of what the CAQ stands for live on if the PQ takes over?
I think there are some similarities between the PQ and the CAQ. All parties are really, to an extent, a creature of the leader of that party. So the CAQ run by Legault will not be the same as the CAQ run by whoever the next leader is, and the same with the PQ. So Flamandon is not the same type of leader as Jean-François Legault was when he was the leader. So I think there are some similarities on questions of nationalism and identity. A big difference is, of course, the CAQ was not in favor of independence. They're not, or I should say, they are not in favor of independence, and the PQ are. And there are also differences on economic policy, on social policy. The PQ are more to the center left, and the CAQ are more to the center right.
What's the big takeaway, Jacob?
Maybe just on the legacy of Legault as a leader. I guess at this point he's quite unpopular, but on the positive end, a lot of the comments thanking him for his service, they highlighted some positive elements of his legacy, like how he was able to take this party that he created to form a majority government, to be reelected, and to be the leader of the province during the pandemic. And there's a lot of praise for him for his actions during the COVID-19 pandemic. But of course, it's certainly a mixed legacy because there were clear negatives to his record as well. And a lot of social programs, including the healthcare system, have arguably declined under his watch. The post-secondary and the education systems in the province are not in great shape as well. And there have been a lot of controversies associated with the government too. So it's quite a mixed legacy, I guess I would say. And for that reason, the unpopularity of the government, I think it's really going to be hard for the party to reinvent itself as something other than just like François Legault's party.
That was Bishop's University political scientist Jacob Robbins-Kanter offering his analysis of Premier François Legault's resignation and what comes next for Quebec politics. This interview was produced with the support of the Local Journalism Initiative. I'm William Crooks for CJMQ 88.9 FM. That's all for this edition of the Pulse of the Eastern Townships. Today's program brought you verified reporting on a major police pursuit and court case, a local look at environmental and governance challenges in Ayers Cliff, and expert analysis on the political fallout from François Legault's resignation. You can find the full articles, interviews, and more local reporting online at the Pulse of the Eastern Townships, pulsetownships.com. I'm William Crooks. Thanks for listening, and always remember, keep that finger on the pulse.
The Post. Townships interviews. Don't forget breaking news. The Post. Broadcast just for you. Are you heading out for a cruise? Or lying there for a snooze? The Post. Broadcast just for you. Hey, I know that guy. Hey, I know that gal too. The Post. Broadcast just for you. The townships are the muse. Make sure to choose the Post.